First Nocturne. Lesson from the Book of Proverbs. I wisdom dwell in counsel, and am present in learned thoughts. The fear of the Lord hateth evil. I hate arrogance and pride, and every wicked way, and a mouth with a double tongue. Counsel and equity is mine, prudence is mine, strength is mine. By me kings reign, and lawgivers decree just things. By me princes rule, and the mighty decree justice. I love them that love me, and they that in the morning early watch for me, shall find me. With me are riches and glory, glorious riches and justice. For my fruit is better than gold and the precious stone, and my blossoms than choice silver. I walk in the way of justice, in the midst of the paths of judgment, that I may enrich them that love me, and may fill their treasures. The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his ways, before he made anything from the beginning. I was set up from eternity, and of old before the earth was made. The depths were not as yet, and I was already conceived. Neither had the fountains of waters as yet sprung out. The mountains with their huge bulk had not as yet been established. Before the hills I was brought forth. Blessed is the man that heareth me, and that watcheth daily at my gates, and waiteth at the posts of my doors. He that shall find me shall find life, and shall have salvation from the Lord. But he that shall sin against me shall hurt his own soul. All that hate me love death. Wisdom hath built herself a house. She hath hewn her out 7 pillars. She hath slain her victims, mingled her wine, and set forth her table. She hath sent her maids to invite to the tower, and to the walls of the city. Whosoever is a little one, let him come to me. And to the unwise she said, Come, eat my bread, and drink the wine which I have mingled for you. But thou, O Lord, have mercy upon us. Thanks be to God. Second Nocturne. In the 4th year from the dogmatic definition of the Immaculate Conception of the Blessed Virgin, at the bank of the river Gave near the town of Lourdes of the Diocese of Tarbes in France, the Virgin herself in a bend of the rock above the grotto of Massabile, often shewed herself to a certain girl, called in the vernacular tongue Bernadette, indeed most poor but noble and pious, to be seen. The Immaculate Virgin appeared with a young and kind appearance, clothed with a white garment and white veil, and girt with a blue girdle. She adorned her bare feet with a golden rose. On the first day of the apparition, which was the 11th of February in the 1858th year, she taught the girl the sign of the cross to be duly and piously made, and she incited her, by her example, to the recitation of the sacred rosary, turning over with her hand the chaplet, which before was hanging down from her arm, which she supplied also in the other apparitions. And on the 2nd day of the apparition, the girl in the simplicity of her heart, fearing diabolic fraud, flung holy water in the Virgin, but the Blessed Virgin, smiling gently, shewed her face more kindly to her. And when she appeared a 3rd time, she invited the girl to the grotto for 15 days. Thence she often addressed her, then commanded, that it might be declared to the priests, a chapel to be built there, and to be approached there for supplications in a manner of solemnity. Moreover she commanded that from the spring, which thus far was hidden under the sand but now was about to erupt, she might drink the water, and by it cleanse herself. Finally on the feast day of the Annunciation, to the girl earnestly inquiring her name, the Virgin, for whose appearance she was so often deemed worthy, the Virgin, her hands having been moved to her breast and her eyes raised to heaven, answered, I am the Immaculate Conception. The fame of favors becoming widespread, which the faithful were said to have received in the sacred grotto, in time the assembly of men increased, whom the sanctity of the place called to the grotto. Therefore the Bishop of Tarbes, moved by the fame of the wonders and the purity of the girl, after a juridical inquiry of the happenings, approved by his decree the signs of the apparition to be supernatural, and permitted the worship of the Immaculate Virgin in the same grotto. Soon a chapel is built. From that day the almost innumerable crowds of the faithful, for the purpose of prayer and supplication, from France, Belgium, Italy, Spain, and the other provinces of Europe, and also from the remote regions of America arrive there in every year, and the name of the Immaculate of Lourdes becometh famous of countries everywhere. The water of the spring, having been carried into all parts of the world, restored health to the sick. And the Catholic world, mindful of such great favors, built holy shrines there with wonderful work. Innumerable banners, as if monuments of received benefits, sent there by cities and nations, decorate the shrine of the Virgin with wonderful adornment. In this, as if her own seat, the Immaculate Virgin is continually honored, indeed by day with prayers, religious chant and other solemn ceremonies, and by night with those solemn supplications, by which the almost infinite crowds of pilgrims proceed with candles and lit torches and sing the praises of the Blessed Virgin. It is known by all for certain the pilgrimages of this sort to have stirred up faith, in a world becoming cold, the soul to have increased to profess the Christian law, and to have spread the worship of the Immaculate Virgin in a wonderful manner. In which wonderful profession of faith the Christian people have the priests as leaders, who lead their people thence. The holy bishops themselves also frequently visit the holy place, lead pilgrimages, and take part in more solemn feasts. Nor indeed is it rare to observe these empurpled fathers of the Roman Church approaching humble in the manner of pilgrims. Even these Roman pontiffs, for their piety towards the Immaculate of Lourdes, enhanced the sacred shrine with most noble gifts. Pius IX, with sacred indulgences, distinguished it with the privilege of an archconfraternity and title of a minor basilica, and willed the image honored there of the God-bearer, with solemn rite through his apostolic legate in France, to be adorned with a crown. And Leo XIII also conferred innumerable benefits, granted indulgences in the manner of a jubilee in the 25th year of the apparition occurring, promoted pilgrimages by his authority and word, and arranged to complete by his name the solemn dedication of the Church under the title of the Rosary. He accumulated the extent of which benefits, when, with the asking of many bishops, he kindly granted a solemn feast to be celebrated under the title of the Apparition of the Blessed Virgin Mary Immaculate with a proper office and proper Massachusetts. Finally Supreme Pontiff Pius X, for his piety towards the God-bearer, and agreeing to the wishes of many holy bishops, extended the same feast to the universal Church. But thou, O Lord, have mercy upon us. Thanks be to God. Third Nocturne. From the Holy Gospel according to Luke. At that time, the angel Gabriel was sent from God to a town of Galilee called Nazareth, to a virgin betrothed to a man named Joseph, of the house of David, and the virgin's name was Mary. And when the angel had come to her, he said, Hail, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women. When she had heard him, she was troubled at his word, and kept pondering what manner of greeting this might be. And the angel said to her, Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found grace with God. Behold, you shall conceive in your womb and shall bring forth a son, and you shall call his name Jesus. Laus tibi, Christa. Homily by Saint Bernard, Abbot of Clairvaux. Rejoice, Father Adam, and yet more thou Mother Eve, ye that are the source of all, and the ruin of all, and the unhappy cause of their ruin before ye gave them birth. Be comforted both in your daughter, and such a daughter. But chiefly thou, O woman, of whom the first evil came, and who hast cast thy slur upon all women. The time is come for the slur to be taken away, and for the man to have nothing to say against the woman. At the first, when he unwisely began to make excuse, he scrupled not to throw the blame upon her, saying, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. Wherefore, O Eve, betake thyself to Mary mother, betake thyself to thy daughter, let the daughter answer for the mother, let her take away her mother's reproach. Let her make up to her father for her mother's fault, for if man be fallen by means of woman, it is by means of woman that he is raised up again. What didst thou say, O Adam? The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. These are wrathful words, by the which thou dost rather magnify than diminish thine offense. Nevertheless, wisdom hath defeated thy malice. God asked thee that he might find in thee an occasion of pardon, but, in that he found it not, he hath sought and found it in the treasure of his own mercy. One woman answereth for another, the wise for the foolish, the lowly for the proud, for her that gave thee of the tree of death, another that giveth thee to taste of the tree of life, for her that brought thee the bitter food of sin, another that giveth thee of the sweet fruits of righteousness. Wherefore accuse the woman no more, but speak in thanksgiving, and say, Lord, the woman whom thou hast given me, she hath given me of the tree of life, and I have eaten, and it is in my mouth sweeter than honey, for thereby hast thou quickened me. Behold, it was for this that the angel Gabriel was sent to the Virgin, to the most worshipful of women, a woman more wonderful than all women, the restorer of them that went before, and the quickener of them that come after her. Has it not of this thy daughter, O Adam, that God spake when he said unto the serpent, I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and if thou wilt still doubt that he speaketh of Mary, hear what followeth, she shall bruise thy head. Who won this conquest but Mary? She brought to naught the whole wiles of Satan, whether for the pollution of her body or the injury of her soul. Weighs it not of her that Solomon spake, where he saith, Who shall find a virtuous woman? The wise man knew the weaknesses of women, how frail they are in body, and how changeable in mind. But he had read that God had promised that the enemy, who had prevailed by means of a woman, was by a woman to be overthrown, and he believed. But he wondered greatly, and said, Who shall find a virtuous woman? That is to say, if our salvation, and the bringing back of that which is lost, and the final triumph over the enemy, is in the hand of a woman, it must needs be that a virtuous woman be found, meet to work in that matter. But thou, O Lord, have mercy upon us. Thanks be to God.